bad. Like,
You
so
singer too?
barely, a little bit. I don't like the maintenance of like the voice, and also I'm not a yeller, and you really got to project when you singing. So I keep it low key.
Yeah.
Save it for karaoke.
You seem like you've always been a very chill guy.
Almost. I was a menace as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have like a Coach Carter moment? Did a black dude sit you down? Listen, young brother, all right, you out here fucking up in these streets. Did you have that moment?
Hell no. I got my ass whooped until high school. Well, all right. So the biggest ass whooping I got, because I think from kindergarten to first grade, I was a problem. And I went to a Catholic school for kindergarten and first grade. So always causing problems, cussing out teachers, temper tantrums. I walked out of the school a couple times. Starting fights. Now I was the only black. Me and my sister were the only black kids in that school. So me causing these problems was kind of a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think about that back then.
Yeah.
And eventually they didn't invite me back. I think it was like after my sister graduated. They were like, "Yeah, there's no reason to keep me, because she was the reason why." Like, I was in there.
Was she a good student?
Yeah. So she graduated, went to high school, and they were like, yeah, he's not coming back.
Gotcha. And then so this is elementary school?
Yeah.
Okay. And then around what grade did you then get moved to somewhere else?
Second grade. So second grade, I got transferred to another school. And I got transferred to the other school, and I thought, like, I could play that same game or like be the same as I was in the other school, and I got my ass whooped.
Was it the first school was an all white school, or was
It was a Latino school, so it was a lot of like Mexicans, Puerto Ricans. I didn't think nothing of race, but I most definitely didn't see another black kid in that school other than my sister.
Did you feel like I grew up in a white area, and I think when you're around white people, it's a little more pronounced. Like, you recognize that you're different. Did you recognize, like, there's something, I'm different than everybody, or was it not even a factor?
I don't think it was a factor. The thing is, like, I've never dealt with the racism a lot of my friends who grew up like with white people dealt with. Nobody in the Mexican neighborhood, because I grew up in the Wicker Park area. Like, the schools that I went to and the places that I went, because my mom worked in that area. Mm-hmm. So she had me go to school close to her. Nobody called me a nigga. Nobody like, oh, that black kid over there. Like, it was like, Ty. Just Ty.
I'm envious of that, sir. But so you finish up there, and then you get moved to another. And was the other school also Latino?
Yes, but it was more mixed. It was a public school, so it was more mixed. It had like a mixture of people, so I had like black classmates, and I met niggas that were worse than me.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. Like, all the black kids got cool because it was like 5, 6 of us. So it was like, we hanging out. It'd be that one that's like real bad. Teacher will lead the class, and he's like walking on the tables.
Yeah.
Or like doing crazy shit, and I'm like, wow, this dude is really bad. Whoa.
Yeah, you mean a real badass little
kid.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I'd just show that attitude and be all bad in this new school. I got the worst ass whooping I ever got in my life.
Let's set the stage. All right, so you're on the playground. I'm imagining where
not the playground. So I did I forgot what the fuck I did. It was so long ago, but I know the teacher, left to call my mom.
Okay.
Usually teachers would be like, all right, then you want to act up? I'm going to call your mom. This teacher didn't tell me they were going to call. It was like, oh, I'll be back, class.
Okay.
She left.
She set you up, dog.
Right.
Okay.
So then my mom, she asked me what's going on. She's like, yeah, your teacher told me blah, 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 blah. So we get home. And I'm like, all right, it's whooping time, whatever. It's a new school, so she already like, you got a new start and you want to act up in this new school. So I got to ask for her. My stepdad comes home. He whoops my ass. He's stronger than her. I'm already tenderized by her.
Yeah.
And they got 2 different styles of whooping. When my mom whoops, it's like everywhere. It's like, yeah. My stepdad, he just aims for the ass.
Okay.
So it's like, my back and legs is all jacked up. And then here he comes just whop. And like, he held my arm and he whooped me in a circle. So then my mom came back and with me one more
Oh,
time.
did she know that he already got you? Or?
Yeah, she was sitting there. It was a gangster party. So they took turns whooping my ass, and I think after that I kind of chilled out.
Yeah.
I had little issues, but like overall,
Yeah.
I chilled out.
Are you of the philosophy that kids should beat their that parents should beat their kids? Like, do you think ultimately that was a net positive for you, and do you think that works for most kids, or what do you?
I think has to be under certain constraints. It has to like punishment. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a whooping, but you have to show them that there are consequences to your actions. You can't coddle them into being a good person.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like, oh, you're just having a bad day. That's why you stomped Timmy in the face type shit.
Yeah.
Like, so you're gonna sit in the corner for a little bit, and we're gonna bring you back when you calm down, okay? Timmy in the ER and shit. And
Yeah.
and you sitting in the quiet room like until it's time for you to get back to class. Like, no, there's punishments for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna miss out on school. You're going to miss out on whatever fun thing is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
If your parents are like that, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Kids who got their ass whooped really was like when they got into certain trouble. When a teacher was about to tell their parents, like, whoa, 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 they go into bargain mode, like, whoa, I'll chill. Like, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Stop that. Like, all the kids who didn't get their ass whooped, they be like, okay.
Right.
If there's no consequences to your actions, you have no reason to be scared of your actions.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
yeah.
So okay, so you moved to this other school and then you chill out a little bit. Did you start getting into art at that point?
My mom always had me into stuff. Always like after school programs, arts and crafts, chorus. I think in this other school, did we have karate? We had karate. No, it's the other school. I went to a lot of elementary schools.
Okay.
So this school, I don't think I really did much. It was probably like the most normal year I had. I don't know why I transferred, but I transferred. So I went to another school. So it was Santa Maria, then Otis, then Anderson. Okay, Anderson, that school is when I got into chorus, and I was in the young art. They had like this thing every year called Young Authors where kids made books and shit. I had won that, or I placed. I don't know where I placed, but I got a trophy for it. And then that school taught karate, which was cool. I got my purple belt. And then I played football. Like my stepdad was a coach of my football team. And it was they did a lot to keep me busy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had therapy.
Oh, you had therapy? Yeah. Good for you, man.
It's hard to explain to people that like, yeah, I had therapy growing up.
That's impressive. I remember I wanted to get therapy, and my mom screamed at me and said that if I went to a therapist, that all my future employers would find out and they would think I was crazy. And so I wasn't allowed to get therapy until like college, basically. I think that's something that the black community as a whole needs to get together a little more.
Yeah.
Like, no, you need to work. You need to talk this trauma out.
But it costs money and time.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you take this hour chunk of your time a week out to talk to somebody?
And you're already busy, and then, yeah.
Right. So it affected me more for like compartmentalizing people in general.
What do you mean?
Like, my work friends are for work. My school friends are for school. My house is for me and my family.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You've come off to me since moving here. You've always come off as very mature, like having a lot of wisdom. You know what I mean? Is that
a little bit? I'm childish in ways. Like, I make dumb decisions. Like,
Right.
should I do this? I'm gonna do it.
But you just seem like a guy who is good at sidestepping bullshit. Like, if you see bullshit coming, it seems like you're aware it's coming, and you're like, I'm just gonna move to the left over here, and then let all these other idiots fall into it. I assume that was that from the ass whooping? Did it open your third eye? Were you just
A
like,
little bit, but I am a agent of chaos at times.
okay, I want to hear about this.
So I'm good at instigating. I'm good at causing problems. I'm good at like mentally hyping up a situation. Like, that devil on your shoulder, like, damn, you let him say that to you.
Like
Like,
when the kids are all in the fight and you're like, man, did you hear what he say about your mom? Nigga?
Right.
Like you that okay.
yeah, so I could gas up some fire.
Okay.
So when it comes to like comedy, like, these are all chaotic people. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's worried about a premise that somebody said. Now it's like, oh, you took my joke. Oh, you said something that I said. Oh, I don't like this dude. Oh, I don't think this dude is funny. It's just so much going on. I could just sit back and watch instead of like joining in on it.
Right.
Because
so you enjoy watching the cast, but you don't want to be in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if it's people I like, I kind of like try to keep them away from it. Be like, yo, you don't gotta entertain that,
Right.
or like, nah, it's not even like how you feel
Yeah.
and stuff. I like it's weird because I like the space I'm in, and I'm around to be peaceful. I want everybody to be cool. I want good vibes everywhere. But if I see drama, I'll watch.
Yeah. Get a lawn chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so. Been talking to some other comedians that have been around this scene for a while. How long you been in this scene? Just the whole time you've been.
Yeah,
So
the whole
7
time.
years.
Yeah.
Okay. From what I gather, COVID, I mean, is shaking everything up. But there was a different vibe pre-COVID till now. From what I've been learning, there was like a hierarchy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and that's gone, and we're rebuilding.
Almost. Like, comics that's been around as long as I have, they still have a little bit of juice, because before it's like, oh, you have to be here a couple years, you got to do certain shows to get on or to get respect in the scene and all that. These niggas that show up at an open mic 3 hours late, just go up the second they walk in the door. Like, certain mics you go to where only famous people go to. The way there's like more shows than open mics now, there was more open mics than shows. Everybody wanted to run an open mic. There was open mics at tattoo parlors. There was open mics at bagel shops. There was open mics everywhere. Wherever a restaurant or a place needed people to be in, like, comics was doing their open mics. And the only way to get to know what open mic was going on was either through word of mouth or the Chicago comedy scene webpage.
I heard about this. So this was that Instagram that I use now isn't what they used to use.
Nope.
I heard. I did this. What's his name? Bob Keane did an episode with me, and apparently. Okay, so
Yeah, Bob Keane is one of the original dudes that I met when I first started.
He told me about that webpage and his particular contribution to that webpage, apparently posting
Oh
something.
yeah, he wrote I think
wild
about
shit.
swoops and stuff. Yeah, see, it was a comedy website. It was Fubu, for us, by us, stand-up comedians, and then like, if you had an issue or something like that, or if there was like a big thing going on, it would go on the site. So it was like sometimes a professional comic, like a touring comic, would write something about like, oh, how to work a room and stuff like that, helpful tips. And then it would be like somebody like Bob talking about these swoops need to know their place, because every year there's a new group,
of course,
of stand-up comics, and they don't understand the rules of the open mic. It's like show up first, go up first type shit. It was like, go up in the order that you showed up in, and then like people who showed up like 2 minutes before the sign up time try to get in the front of the line, and then it's like, oh, y'all some swoops. You swooped in.
Gotcha.
And
yeah. There's a respect in this community for the craft, it seems like, and for the grind of it that I personally I didn't really have in the same way where I was from. So coming out here, there's this hierarchy isn't the right word, but I think it's a respect of what this game is.
Yeah.
Do you think that quarantine and COVID this shakeup, has that helped things? Has it hurt things?
I think it gives people a better chance on being seen. It was harder back then. You had to impress like somebody who was already on the road to LA, because like the mode for Chicago was the place where you train yourself so you can hit a coast. So it's like you get your credits, you do a comedy show, you record your 30 minutes, hour, or whatever, and then you move.
Was that your plan?
Hell no, I don't want to move. I want if I do move, it's gonna be temporary. I would like to like go to L.A. or New York for a job. If you give me a job out there, I'll kick it there for a little bit. But ultimately, I want to live in Chicago.
Why is that?
It's my home, and also like all those places suck for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
L.A. is L.A. is pretty, and it reminds me of Chicago a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I feel comfortable. I could walk everywhere in LA and not feel like, I'm gonna die.
Okay, I'm listening.
But New York I ain't been there yet, but it just looks like a stinky, cluttered Chicago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like New Yorkers anyway. People from New York kind of get on my nerves.
Yeah, you seem a little too chill for that, like,
Yeah.
That what the fuck yeah. I get you. It's funny because I also want to stay in Chicago. Like in my head, coming out here, I was like, it's the Midwest, so I can get to more places easier. It doesn't have that plasticky vibe from LA, and it doesn't have that needless aggression from New York. But it's still a city.
Right.
The comics are still good. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I do know, and that's just the media, how Chicago's portrayed. But like, people shit on Chicago. Like, people have such a negative perception of this place, and it's not that bad. Like,
it's not. It's you know what? It's the news. The news sensationalizes the violence. Like it's a big ass city. There's shit gonna happen in this big ass city. Y'all basing a lot of people base their knowledge of the city on the music, and I'm like, the music is from 3 blocks of people.
You were talking about O Block.
Yeah.
What's O Block's enemy is
what is that? It's like something 60 something in St. Lawrence.
Okay.
It's not. They're not a.
O Block has a better ring to it.
Yeah, because they are an actual like housing complex. Like.
Okay. Have you seen the movie Attack the Block?
No.
Oh, Nick, you would love it. Have you John Boyega?
Yes.
So this John Boyega pre-Star Wars. It's set in England, in the hood of England, and it's an alien invasion movie, and it's fucking dope. You should really check it out. You're a cinephile.
Yeah.
I have it on DVD. One day, if you ever want to smoke and watch, because like it's dope as fuck.
Okay.
And it's got a horror element to it. It's right up your alley.
Okay.
But when I picture O Block, just big building.
Yeah. Well, it's a bunch of big buildings.
Okay.
There's a gate around it. It's how do I even explain it?
Take a ride. Want to go?
Probably you can
get some disposable cameras.
Because now it's a tourist location.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Why? Okay.
Because rappers Lil Durk, King Von,
Right.
Chief Keef, they all talk about it. There's bloggers who actually make money, like talking about the thing, like Chiracology. It's a thing.
Yeah. When DJ Academics had a whole. It makes sense. People love drama. People love chaos. When I think about that, and maybe it's just because of where I was from, I get disappointed. Like that's less of a touristy thing to me and more like a frustration. It's the whole. I mean, getting the black community, brother. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, brother? We need to stop killing each other, brother. Like that's my instinct when I see that, and I'm like, God damn! If we could just get on the same page, and I know that comes from fucking hundreds of years of bullshit and trauma and manipulation and colorism, and then you got the all of our reasonable black leaders being murdered, and then all of a sudden you have this mess, but it just bothers me. I don't know.
I see it as true crime for black people.
Okay, fair enough.
Because like I grew up watching those things because late night Discovery Channel, that's when shit get murdery. All that. It's like, okay, it's time to get rid of the cute animals, and we got the new detectives.
Right.
We got the, forensic files, all that stuff. So I grew up watching that shit and listening to the Chiracology. It's damn near the same thing. It's just with black people. It's not enough to start a whole channel.
Right.
But it's enough to kind of like get people interested in the inner workings of what's going on in this area. And also the soundtrack is bussin'.
Yeah, usually crazy shit leads to good art. You know.
Yeah.
Do you? So, what is the plan? Like 5 years from now, do you see yourself?
5 years from now, I want to find a balance of like everything I do, because a lot of people do it for the art. Like, I love comedy. Comedy saved my life, and I'm like, yeah, it's the one thing that I've done the most consistent in my life. It's the one thing I feel comfortable that I'm good at. The thing that I can do.
Mm.
I just, I make enough money. I'm chilling. I'm investing in like some type of like turnkey, yeah, to some type of turnkey or some type of thing that can make me some money, and I'm chilling because I'm not big on fame.
I was about to say that you don't seem like a guy who needs to be wearing sunglasses in clubs, and you don't need to be popping bottles. You seem. I'm looking around your space. You seem a very humble man.
I just moved here, but yeah, this is everything I own. So
Yeah,
and it's like the thing about I'd rather have the money so I can buy the stuff to fill out my space instead of the fame. Because being famous, being popular, it's easy. It's simple, and it doesn't give you money. It just gives you notoriety. Yeah, right. It's just clout. Like, I got a lot of clout in the comedy scene.
really.
Everybody knows who Ty Riggs is, even if I don't know who they are.
You just referred to yourself, and that's sexy. That was nice. Everybody knows Ty Riggs, baby. I'm the Riggs.
Like, I walk in the room, everybody shakes my hand. Everybody, oh, hey, what's up, Ty? And it'd be people I don't even recognize. I'm like, how the fuck you know who I am? Who are you?
Well, thank you for humbling yourself to do this.
It's like I'm not nobody.
No, yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
You were one of the guys that came up. Your name came up when I first moved out here. Like when I was trying to navigate, figure out what's going on. I remember a few people. I know Christian Royce talked about you, and it's interesting. I don't remember meeting you. Like, I remember it was like all of a sudden you were on my radar, and I saw you enough to be like, oh, that's the Riggs. That's Mr. Riggs. But do you have any memory of us interacting at any point? I don't.
We met at North Bar.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think Bear Belly open mic. We was just outside talking. I'm drawn towards like the newer black comics, especially up north, because it's kind of weird, like maneuvering. It's so nice and community-ish that, like, if you're here trying to learn the craft, you can get caught up in the community. So then when you get caught up in the community, you don't get better. You just kind of emulate the comics that you're around.
Right.
And the ones that are bigger on community kind of aren't that funny, or like they're not making the moves necessary to eat off of this.
They're coasting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I understand a lot of comedians don't have a lot of friends, or like they grew up and like they have like a few friends. They're probably awkward, whatever. So you get into this thing where you're kind of good at, got a couple of jokes. Now people want to be your friend, and now you're kicking it with all these different comics. Y'all going to different places, hitting mics together and stuff like that. And you do, the next thing you know, you're 10 years in and you still doing the same thing you did when you were 6 months in. Right.
So you gravitating towards the newer black comics are people that are hungry.
Yeah.
Like, the new people are the ones, including myself, that we have something to prove. There's this, this hustle that needs to happen. So I get that. How new, man, I don't have any context for it. Like, how many new people are there? Are there a lot?
Yeah, there's new people every day.
Yeah.
There's like, it's so much people that even old people that I known like coming up that came back to Chicago, I haven't seen them in months. And they're still doing stuff. They be like, where you been? What you been up to? Like, yeah, man, I got a show over here. I do the show over there. I hit this mic once in a while, blah, blah, blah. And with so much, and then with Lincoln Lodge is now the hub for like newer comics, because now you have a place to hit all these stages. You get to know people on different levels. And then, shit, if you feel you got it, you can produce a show.
Right.
Before, producing the show was a bigger deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the fuck you show, all that, like, I should not the level. I mean, I've been doing it for about 6 years now. But in terms of physically in the location being new, the amount of time I've been here is that's abnormal to be a part of a production of a show.
Oh no, it's especially if you've done it for like 6 years.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
cool. Like,
But if I was like a year in and I moved here, doing that would be strange.
there is no time limit because I started my first. Well, I co-produced my first show 4 or 5 months in.
God damn. Okay.
Yeah, I was just hitting stages because I had an open mic I hit like every week, and I learned more about like the scene because I started out like my first and second time doing stand up was at Jokes and Notes.
Okay, I heard about those.
First time I did all right. Second time I got the music played on me.
Okay.
Because the first time it's like, yeah, we got a comic. It's his first time. Yada yada, blase blase. Yeah. And then, everybody was like,
You pull
okay,
that card
cool.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, yeah, you got something, like the comics see it as a comic. The people see it as like, let me see what this dude got to say. But like the comedians was like, let me see what this kid got going on.
His potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I didn't do that well because a lot of them didn't talk to me. And then one comic, Big Keith, he was like, yeah, you got something there. Just keep working at it. Just keep working at it. You got something. I come back the next week, don't do as well. Never got to get back up. Because Mary like to get a fresh rotation of comics in. So if you there all the time, like you could really go up there like maybe once, twice a month. And you have to figure out how you're going to get better on those other days. Because it was only like on Wednesdays.
It's not. That show's done though. It's not back.
Yeah, it was a comedy club.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the last week it was open, Kevin Hart had did his Next Up show. And he had like Erica Nicole Clark, Calvin Evans, all the heavy hitters. I think Just Niche also. I think it's on TV somewhere. But like they had did their sets for Kevin Hart. It was a free show. He was like giving away free tickets and motherfuckers packed that bitch out.
And then what happened? It sounds like it was at its peak and then
They closed it down. Well, it wasn't really at its peak because live comedy, especially in the hood, is kind of hard to sell.
In what way?
They only want to see who they want to see. If they go to a comedy show, they want to see somebody they saw on TV, and they want to hear the jokes that they heard on TV.
Irony.
Yeah.
They don't understand like, well, the only way they got on TV was if you just see them here and then it,
Yeah.
goes from there. I swear I was gonna ask you something. I can't remember what it was. God damn it. You know when you're bad at your job? What your vibe, like the community thing, that's something that I'm trying to develop for myself. Like I need healthy friendships. Like I'm trying to gravitate towards people that seem like they're going to lift me up and encourage me and be real with me when I'm fucking up, but they're not gonna revel in my potential suffering, or they're gonna balance me out almost.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I got into a group. Like, so when I did my first showcase, which was called All the Way 100, it was at North Bar. It was the first comedy show at North Bar.
Ever?
I don't think ever. It had like improv shows, but it was like the first popular. So it was bussing. I didn't really have to do much. The other dude was the one who set everything up. He had the promotion. He had the idea. He had the comics come in, and he's like, it was a weird time though, cause back then there was a lot of Me Too situations. There was a lot of creepy folks.
I heard. Okay,
Yeah.
let me figure out how to word this. I heard people were getting roofied. Like there was a serial roofier going on.
Yes, there was. But the thing is, it wasn't like to like take anybody home. It was like
Fuck their setup.
not even. It was like he would roofie somebody open mic, and yeah, he would roofie somebody drinking an open mic. I don't even know who it was.
Okay.
But eventually, because like everybody was on edge, everybody was scared. They had like they took the list from every open mic.
Yeah.
And like posted it to see who was all there. And those are all open mics I wasn't at.
Right.
So I was happy.
Right.
Nothing to do with me. I got other shit going on. And
you got an alibi.
the thing is, they found out who did it. And I know it was somebody white. and somebody that they are cool with, because
Okay, hold on. Let me try to put because you're saying they like there's some sort of Illuminati entity, but like, is there? I mean, you don't need to say anybody's name, but is there like, was this the hierarchy? The top of the hierarchy figured it out?
no, it wasn't even the top of the hierarchy. Don't go to open mics.
Right, they don't give a fuck. Okay,
Yeah,
fair
so
enough, fair
like
enough.
it was somebody, because like I said, community.
Right, right.
And when it came to open mics, like all the open micers were kind of like close, because like, oh yeah, you see them every day, probably like 4 or 5 times a day. Because back then you could hit 4 mics a night.
That's crazy.
And
Are we headed back to that at any
I
point?
hope not.
Oh, okay.
That shit was And then the people who hit the most mics,
Got
they
it.
don't even do comedy no more. Right. There was a dude who did probably 5 open mics a day.
Yeah.
Had a calendar, talked about like, yeah, I hit 275 stages this year, and da 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 da. Not one new joke.
Right.
He expanded on his same joke. Didn't even have 30 minutes. He just got married and left. A lot of comics that were like back in that era got married. Was like, I make more money than I do stand-up comedy. Others were exposed as racists. Sometimes they weren't even racist. They were just Republican and short.
I mean, that's part of it. That's under the umbrella of racism.
Oh, more classism. But even though it goes hand in hand with racism, it's like, I know a racist.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, and but he wasn't racist. He had like
Issues.
Yeah,
Ignorant. Yeah,
he was. I think he didn't like women. It's not that he didn't like niggas.
Oh.
And the women were like, he hates black people. You should hate him too. I'm like, he ain't never did nothing to me. He bought me a couple drinks when we first met.
Yeah.
He just don't like you, bitch.
And there was no roofie in it. He's got
Right.
a good guy.
But yeah, so like the way they talked about it, I'd say like a year after that situation, I think they found out who did it, and it was somebody that they were cool with. It was either a girl or like a dude, because they were like, oh yeah, somebody thought it was a joke or somebody was pranking. And it was like, oh, so y'all found out who did it within y'all circle, sat down and talked to him, and then like left it alone.
There's no repercussion for this person?
No, even though they probably don't even do comedy anymore.
Right.
But yeah, there was no real repercussion.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of black dudes that got in trouble. Some of them did like real bogus shit, and the other ones were just, he just like fucking bitches. It was it wasn't like getting them drunk or anything. He was like, oh, they got game.
Yeah.
And the girls was going. That's the thing. A lot of the girls, I don't even really feel comfortable talking about this.
We don't need to.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to veer. Let's veer into more positive. Let me explain a little stuff. That's the thing is, I think that was what was tough with talking with Bob, is he's so quick to say people's names and call people out. I'm like, I'm new. Like I don't know anything. I don't want to be in drama. I'm trying to, like I was saying before, I'm trying to find somebody fucking worded it well. I'm trying to find my tribe. And sometimes I'm like, it's clicking. Like, yeah, these are my people. And then for my personality, I get overzealous about it, and I think I have a tendency to scare people away because I'm like I don't want to compare myself to Jim Carrey from The Cable Guy. Like, it's not that bad.
You ride or die for your gang. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so like after the show at North Bar, the All the Way 100 show, through that I met Joe Boyd.
Okay.
He's in LA now. He visited this weekend. I didn't get to see him, but yeah, he liked my set, and he was like, "Yo, are you trying to?" He texted me one day. He was like, "Yo, are you trying to tour?" And I was like, "Cool, yeah." So we met up. It was me and a few other comics, and he was talking about a tour, and it ended up starting a group. We started doing a show. It started off in an apartment.
This was pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way pre-COVID. Yeah. It was like my first year in.
Wow. Okay.
So it was that was like the beginning of MLKs of comedy. It was me, Jarrell, Scott Barnes, Jason Acevedo, James Fisher, Danny Love. He's more of an actor, but he does stand up. Mm-hmm. Great stand up.
These are all comedians here now?
Well, Denny and Joel are in LA. It was like a real boy band because we had to replace James with Aaron Branch, who's in LA now, and Michael Robinson. Michael Robinson was an MLK. We got pictures and stuff. And so it was a fun time because we produced shows. It gave me the experience because I wasn't the best at stand up. I think I had one solid joke, and then the rest was like really just personality. I had to like learn everything on the fly. I learned how to produce shows. I learned how to like kind of host a little bit. It was a good internship ish type situation because all these dudes are already established in their like careers as comics. Everybody had their own different style. They had their different thing that they brought to the table. We did sketches, video sketches. We did live sketches. I wish we had somebody to record all those live sketches because those shit.
It was good.
My God, it was so and it was fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Every month, new sketch, new lineup. At first, we were like, "Oh yeah, let's get somebody." It was like, let's bring in somebody to headline our shows, blah blah blah. And then at one point, we was like, "Nah, fuck that." There's like 7 of us. We each could take turns headlining. And we just had one extra person on the outside to come in. And a lot of comics didn't like that.
Why?
Cause it's a bunch of dudes giving themselves stage time.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
They want people to distribute stage time. A lot of comics don't want to like get their stage time. Exactly. They don't want to get their stage time. They want you to give them their stage. Oh, you got a stage? Let me on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like that's how they were. And I'm like, for a monthly show ran by 7 dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, some Wu-Tang shit going on.
Yeah. It was few things. It was like, oh, you guys don't have any girls in your group. I'm like, it didn't fit in with the camaraderie.
Right.
Because like we had meetings every week that everybody had to make.
Right.
There was no Zoom. There was no like, it was like we sat there.
Okay.
We sat there every week at the same time, talked about the show we were gonna do. And then we had to go home and do that. Then like, cause it didn't matter what shows we had that night. It didn't matter like where we at. Like we couldn't, like you couldn't be out of the meeting if you wanted to be involved in what we had going on.
Sounds like there's a synergy.
Yeah.
And by adding a new person just because they're a woman or a Chinese or whatever would throw off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we did our shows. We had our own separate stuff. Sometimes we'll move like a gang. You'd be like, yo, we going to an open mic tonight? Hell yeah. It's like all 7 of us will like go to an open mic and we'll just fuck around at the open mic. We'll give each other challenges like, okay, today you're going to do a set about hamburgers. And then we'll just sit there and one person will like just riff about hamburgers.
That sounds so much fun.
It was it was the shit.
And that's the stuff that I'm having fun. Like you were talking about the dude who was like, I went to 5 open mics 24/7, baby. And it's like, are you enjoying is this fun for you?
Exactly. I was so exhausted going to open mics because it's so much, and you're like up there till like 2 a.m. And of course there were fun mics.
Yeah,
there were a lot more places. IO was a good spot, but then like some people just needed a microphone in their hand. There was also like music open mics you can go to and like try your shit out.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and then if you got a car, the Southside open mics, like there's a lot of South Suburb open mics. There's a few like regular Southside mics. There's one like on 87th and something, not too far from here, that Rob Make the World Laugh. He got one. I hit that up. It's all about like, I don't know. I wasn't the one that would like find a mic that I liked the most and stick to it. I was like, it was wherever the wind took me. So I wake up in the morning and throughout my day, like, cause I worked at FedEx at the time. So throughout my day, I'll be looking through social media and see where like my favorite people would be at. So if I like the person or if I was cool with somebody, I look through and see where they at. Are they doing a show tonight? Are they doing an open mic? Asking people where they going, stuff like that. And however I felt is where I'll be on that day.
Sorry, I'm jumping to another thing here, but do you feel like you found your voice? Do you feel like you know yourself? How old are you?
32.
Okay. Do you feel like you know? I mean, obviously you change and you develop whatever, but do you feel like you know yourself?
Yeah.
When did you feel like that finally clicked?
I'd say about 3 or 4 years in.
Into stand-up? Yeah. So you were in your 20s when that happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a lot. Because, I was doing my jokes. They were kind of basic. Yeah, the jokes were kind of basic. And I got through with it. Sometimes I'd riff and like it'd be gold. You know how you have a good riff, and you don't remember it. It was those type of situations. So eventually, I had to learn what was the theme of my stand up.
Please elaborate on that. What do you mean?
So like when you're starting out, you're just trying to be funny. You know, you read the books, you watch the people around you, you do all this stuff, and most of the time, because I don't watch stand up comedy unless it's like in person or somebody I know. I don't do the research and sit around and like, you know, oh yeah, I gotta watch this person special, I gotta see that person special, I gotta see this, I gotta see that. I'm like, I'm around some of the best comics in the world. Why the fuck I gotta watch this person that just got a good enough agent to get you a Netflix special? You know, then and sometimes they not even all that good.
I've seen some stinkers.
Exactly. I'm like, so Netflix paid you to bomb in this bitch.
They add a laugh track, you know.
Right. So like that's one. I didn't watch stand up. I don't watch stand up. All I watch is like cartoons and just, you know, funny shit. And, you know, movies. And that helped me figure out where I wanted to go with my stand up. It was things that I think about in my mind, because everybody wonders like when I say dumb shit, because I'm a very like on the side commentating, talking shit type of person. So they'd be like, why, what made you think that? Like, where's your mind at? Like, that's just how I think. And when I found out how to hone that and put it on stage, that's when I was like, okay, I think I got it.
I think that's where I've been picking up that vibe of mature. It's you figuring that. All right, cat. There's a cat in here. Is it a calico cat? Look at it go. I love cats and dogs. But to figure that out in your 20s and then to have been focusing on this stand up, I think it makes you have to think, if you're really working for it, you have to completely dissect yourself to be good, and to have been doing that for so long and to really be working on yourself, I think is why I get this vibe of seasoned maturity. And it's something that I'm 30 and it's something I very recently started working on. And so I feel like that's evident too. I feel like people can feel that, like, I'm not a child, but I'm also I'm not fully grounded in whatever this is. And there's going to be something. God damn it. I normally have like a notepad and shit, but I just oh, fuck me.
It's all good. But yeah, it's like, that's what you get. The maturity is, I mean, a little bit.
There you go. Okay. Here's a question. What was your first impression of me that you can remember before, like, really?
Green, very new, very like, you know, what is that? Optimistic. Optimistic, yeah.
Okay. I'm okay. Like, unaware of the hurdles that are about to,
because Chicago comedy is cool on the outside, like on the tops. It's like an iceberg. Like, you know, you see the tip of the iceberg. It's cool. It's fun. It's community. People are happy, but it's behind the scenes. It's very cutthroat.
Yeah. I obviously I'm still green. It feels like I've been here for years. It's only been like 7 months, but yeah, I'm already digging below the surface of the water into the iceberg and realize I've had humbling moments. I've had I've had infuriating moments. I've had fucking times where I was just disappointed in myself for behavior and stuff, for my behavior. And it's a humbling city.
Yeah, very much so.
So when do you think you'll feel like, oh, I'm living off of this?
When I'm living off when I get like different gigs, like corporate gigs and traveling to different cities, like when the clubs pay me to come to their city and I got lodging and all that shit, when it's every day almost.
Where are you at right now? I don't know. I know you're Mr. Riggs, but I don't know what being like. It sounds. I mean, I know that the hierarchy was kind of demolished, but it still feels like there's
There's still
a flowing hierarchy, and I definitely feel like I'm on the bottom looking up at a bunch of people. And so let's say, okay, obviously you're not like headlining the Laugh Factory and the Comedy Bar every night, but you're not with me in the grime of the open mic every single night. Like, you get booked for shit.
Yeah, I got a show. I got like 1 or 2 shows a week, maybe.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, for me, that's like for me right now, it's like, oh man, I got 3 shows booked this month, baby. That's right, killing it.
It's sometimes like shit. I got to a point where sometimes if somebody falls out of a show, or somebody can't make a show, like I'll be the person they hit up. Yeah. I always hated being the. I didn't like being the replacement because then I didn't have any time to prepare. I ain't had no time to promote. It seemed like I'm not out here, so it's like it threw me off at first. But then I'm like, oh, they think about me, you know.
Yeah.
Or I'd be like the pilot guy. So it's like, oh, this is my first show of this series of shows. And you were the first person I thought of. I'm like, nigga, you couldn't wait like 3 months?
Yeah, wait till it's ironed out and you know.
Exactly. So like you do the first show, it's okay, but then you see the show like 2 shows later and you like, what the fuck?
Right.
Bring me back. Bring me back.
Do you feel, I'm going to make an assumption here, and that is you don't seem to be impatient. You seem like you're on your journey and you're in your little boat and you're kind of sailing along, and you'll get there when you get there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to that place, and if I'm being honest with myself, I'm still anxious and I'm still in a rush as much as I try to slow myself down. And I think a big part of that is because like when I'm coming out here, people see me as like a new comic. It's like, well, I've been doing this for a while. I'm just new here, and it's like you have roots in this city. People know who you are. And so coming out from a place where I was a big fish in a small pond and I knew it, I knew that like there's so much more, and this is fucking terrifying, but like I gotta leave this to grow. It still is frustrating. Like I'm still like, goddamn, you can book me. It's safe to book me. I promise you. I know what I'm doing. And I don't know, were you in a rush at any point, or have you always been pretty chill?
Pretty chill, because I didn't know what to do or where to go. At one point, I was just hitting stages. Then it's like, oh, yeah, you need a resume. Oh, you need headshots. You need this. You need that. And I'm like, all right, I'll get to that when I could afford it. It's like, So, yeah, it was just me doing my shit, trying stuff out. And I don't know. I'm always a person like, because there's so many different branches that stand-up comedy can take you. And I'm like, I'm not the best at any of them. Pretty good at all of them. If somebody wants to throw money at me to do one thing, I could do it. That's really my thoughts on it.
I really wish you had some backwoods that you were just rolling right now. You're just, dude, you're like, man, I don't want to gas you up or nothing, Mr. Riggs, but yeah, this podcast has been healthy for me because this energy that you exude is something that I very much admire, and I look for in myself. But then, try to be yourself. It's
right. Thank you. I mean, it gets hard sometimes because you'll see somebody like there's niggas that are amazing. They come in a year in and they already touring and writing on TV shows and all that shit. You like, God damn. Yeah. What am I doing wrong? And it's like, maybe you just think I'm not a personable person. I had to learn how to get my thoughts out without scaring the crowd.
Please elaborate on that. Scaring them? What do you mean?
Because there's a lot of like jokes that like I'll say that people. It's not that they weren't expecting, but like that topic is not
taboo. Yeah.
Like I had a joke about Trump.
Classic.
It's my favorite. It was my favorite joke about Trump because I was like, out of all, they talk about who he affects overseas and all around the world, but they don't talk about people that he affects at home in Chicago, like the people that live in Trump Towers, because you will never understand the feeling of your bitch ass landlord now becoming your bitch ass president.
That's some solid shit.
Yeah. So it's like you bring up Trump and you're not like, hey, fuck him, right? And it's more like, what about the people that he's affecting type shit. Or
Right.
like with Hillary, it led into a Hillary joke where it'd be like, they said fuck Hillary, they don't like her. Isn't it was like, but I think I know where she fucked up. She tried to dance. And it was like I did, the act out of the whip dance. It was like, what is this? What is this? The whip? Come on, Hillary, your people perfected it 200 years ago. So it was like, I had to learn how to like get those thoughts out and kind of have the crowd with me, and not like, because when they're scared, they don't even care what's going on. They start talking to the person, they're like, oh my god, did you hear what he just said? Like, and it throws off the whole joke.
So you learned about like kind of building rapport.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Have you ever gone through a phase of purposefully upsetting the crowd where you did that a lot?
Yeah.
Still?
No.
Okay.
There were times where like I'll be bombing and I get an attitude and I have like, I'll just say something stupid.
Yeah.
And it'd be like whatever, because instead of like lashing out at the crowd, I'll just figure out what kind of dumbass like bit I could say to get them upset. What was one of the set? I don't know. A lot of the shit wasn't even funny, so I kind of like left it alone. Yeah. But yeah, there are moments where like I'm giving you gold. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. But it's these are the breaks.
Just part of the game. That's another. I'm trying not to. I used to lash out like crazy. I remember when I first started, my girlfriend and her mom came out, and I got heckled by some very butch lesbians, and I called them cunts in front of my girlfriend's mom. And it was the first time she had ever seen me perform. It was pretty embarrassing.
Was your girlfriend's mom white?
Very white.
Oh, okay. Cunt is a bad word to them. Yeah. That's a N word.
Yeah, they're not happy about that. But now out here, I don't have a lot more control over it. The one thing I need to work on with that is I lash out at particular types of white audiences. Like when I see if I see a group of conservative white people, I'm like, oh, I just want to do everything to upset you. And then when I see a group of liberal white people that are the type that I don't trust, like they're taking Instagram pictures at protests and shit, I also want to make them as uncomfortable as possible. And it's not likable or fun or funny, and I need to like stop doing that. I think I got better at it, but
yeah, just I say learn how to poke fun.
Yeah, poke rather than punch.
Yeah,
I get you. What time is it? Okay. I normally do about an hour. It's like 52 minutes, so we can wrap it up soon. Okay. Mr. Riggs, any questions for me? Anything you're curious about? I've been throwing shit at you.
I mean, you're going through the motions of a new comic.
Yeah.
You're learning the environment, the community, also learning about yourself, stage presence and cadence and stuff, because where you're from and where you're at, two totally different things.
Yeah.
By the time you get 2 years in Chicago, if you go back home and perform, you'll be the best person in your city.
I'm excited for that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, on a petty level, like on a petty level, because I know motherfuckers thought I was not going to do this.
Yeah.
I was going to fail.
And Chicago is basically boot camp. It's like, it's really like, it puts you in the trenches. It hardens you. Mm-hmm. It's like you start off as very nice and stuff, but then when you get to the performing and stuff, like it's a lot. A lot of people are very competitive, and I'm like, sometimes the person who makes it is not always the funniest person in the room, or the person that the crowd remembers. It's not always the person that made them laugh the most, or the hardest. Sometimes the hard laughs. Sometimes crowds don't hard laugh. They sit there, and that's what I hate about my set sometimes, or like the style I do, because like people will sit there and listen and nod and clap and all that shit to my jokes. Right. And I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to make you laugh.
What is it about you? Because I know I've seen it. I saw it at the Lincoln Lodge a little bit, where you're saying funny stuff and you're not bombing. They're engaged, they're listening, but it's almost like they're listening to a TED Talk rather than a comedy show. What is that?
Sometimes energy is what pulls the laughs out. Mm-hmm. That's why when you go to the South Side, there's a lot of woo-ah! Yeah. That's what brings the laughter out of me. Yeah. I'm usually a quiet laugher. I laugh out my nose, or I like slap my knee. These like you hear the jokes out south, it'd be like you really laugh.
Yeah.
It's like really like ha what? Why would you say that? That's crazy. When really it's like the heightened energy. They're where you're at. You pull them up there, and you like kind of pull the laughs out. That's why a lot of like it's hard to follow certain comics because it tires them out.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh my God, they've been laughing for 7 minutes straight. Now I gotta go up and follow this dude.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you gotta learn. Following somebody that's like that just ripped.
Yeah.
And it's either match that energy or try to like bend it to like, so this is where you guys are at.
Yeah.
This is me.
I had a moment like early on moving here. I followed Rovon Hill. The face says it all. We were at an open mic. It wasn't a big deal, but I followed this dude, and his energy. He's a freaking maniac. He reminds me of Tracy Morgan a little bit. Just a wild, just a completely free person.
Yeah.
And I followed him, and I started off really good because I was riffing. I just started making fun of him, and I was riffing. I was riding this wave that I don't know is considered. I mean, where I'm from is not disrespectful. I don't know.
Yeah, you ride the wave. I mean, because if you don't,
You're fucked.
yeah, because the host sometimes, especially open mics hosts don't reset the room. They just be like, all right, we got this guy next.
Yep. And so I was riding it, and then as soon as I got to my material, I wasn't present anymore. Like when I was riffing and I was with the audience and I was like in the moment, and then as soon as I was like, okay, now time to work on this material, it fucking
tanked.
Oh my God. And that was a big thing I've been learning out here. It's gotten me a lot better is just staying present with the audience. I think the South Side's really taught me that.
Yeah.
What I've noticed the big difference in terms of style is I feel like North Side is just, it's a lot of writers, very good writers, people that write jokes. And then the South Side are performers. They're entertainers. They really, you can't just recite jokes at the audience in the South Side. Like they want to feel that you're there with them.
Exactly.
And I've learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This has been healthy for me, and I hope it's been healthy for you.
Yeah, this is a cool conversation. This is dope. I like doing podcasts because it helps me get to know other comics.
Yeah.
Because like I usually stick to who I know, or like I just say hi to everybody and kind of like get my nice little corner and just.
I'm not gonna be as awkward now after podcast. By the way.
Okay, cool.
Like pre podcast, I don't know. I don't do well with getting to know people in big
in groups because comics always want to be the one talking.
Right.
So it's like a jumble of words and shit. That's why I don't talk.
Right. Same. I feel like I've come off a little what's the word? Standoffish because of that. But in reality, it's just like I'm just uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like a conversation between a bunch of comics is like double dutch. And you're sitting there waiting to jump in.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you'll find a spot to jump in, and then somebody will jump in before you, and you're like, come on, now that was mine.
Yeah, this was my moment for people to remember I was here. But like now it feels like, I don't know, like I've massaged the ability to communicate with you outside of this in a way that's not going to be as weird.
It's all good.
All right. Well, sir, I'm gonna head back home and eat pizza.
For sure.
All right.